If a Canadian were targeted by a hostile foreign state with a hostile attack, a malware or hacking attempt, foreign state sponsored, how would that, and it was intercepted by you or your partners at that table, the CSEC, how would that Canadian come to learn that that had happened? So would you notify the individual that a foreign state had targeted them?
I mean, it really depends on the nature of what was found and who found it. But that committee would be the place where that discussion would take place and deconfliction would take place. And then a decision would be made going forward as to the nature of that threat and how to deal with it.
Of course, we had an example this year where parliamentarians across party lines were targeted, where it was revealed earlier this year, I should say, by a foreign state-sponsored attack, APT-31. And, of course, the individuals who were targeted were all legislators, and none of them were notified by anyone who sits at that table. So it's just interesting to know that that conversation took place. I understand that that the paper got shuffled over to the House of Commons, but of course that gives cold comfort to the affected individuals and would leave other Canadians wondering what would happen to them if they were being targeted, and would they be informed, or do they have to depend on their employer to be notified and then informed, or should they wait for the FBI to let them know, which is what took place in this case, is how Canadians came to know that had occurred.
Mr. Chair, on April 10th of this year, the Globe and Mail reported that in 2019, the then Liberal candidate, now Member of Parliament for Don Valley North, was tipped off by a Liberal Party member that he was being monitored by CSIS. It was confirmed at the public inquiry on foreign interference that only a select few top Liberals closely connected to the Prime Minister were present at classified CSIS briefing where this information was communicated. 3 top Liberals received the briefing, including Azim Ismail, the National Director of the Liberal Party. Mr. Ismail then briefed Jeremy Broadhurst, who did have the requisite security clearance, Broadhurst being a top advisor to the Prime Minister. Broadhurst then briefed the Prime Minister. So what we know is that 5 top Liberals, including the Prime Minister himself, were briefed. That information resulted in a leak in which a candidate, now Member of Parliament, was tipped off that he was being monitored by CSIS. Can you confirm that knowingly leaking classified information is an offense under Sections 13 and 14 of the Security of Information Act?
Yes, leaking classified information is a criminal offense.
And it would be fair to say that it is a serious offense punishable by up to 14 years behind bars?
Yes, I believe you're correct.
Yes. Following the Globe and Mail report, I sent a letter to the Commissioner of the RCMP dated April 12th of this year, bringing to his attention this apparent serious breach of national security, whereby all evidence points to 5 top Liberals, one of whom, or more than one of whom, may have betrayed their oath of secrecy and leaked classified information, undermining ongoing national security operations. And on May 3rd, 2024, I received a letter from the Commissioner acknowledging my letter. Since that time, has the RCMP opened an investigation?
Mr. Chair, I won't be able to comment on any facts of whether we have or not an investigation.
Well, okay, fair enough. I understand you might not be able to comment on it if an investigation has been opened, but the Commissioner did say in his letter that the RCMP will examine this information. So has the RCMP examined the information surrounding serious allegations contained in the Globe and Mail report about a major national security breach involving top Liberals close to the Prime Minister, perhaps even the Prime Minister himself.
Mr. Chair, again, I'm not going to comment on this question.
Well, has the RCMP contacted any of these top Liberals?
Mr. Chair, again, I'm not going to comment
Well,
on this.
I think there needs to be a certain level of transparency. I know you can't comment on any ongoing investigation. I understand that. I respect that. I'll put it to you this way. Has the Prime Minister contacted the RCMP? Has he referred this national security breach to the attention of the RCMP?
Mr. Chair, same answer. I'm not going to comment on.
Well, it's interesting that you're not able to comment. It's interesting further that the Prime Minister has been silent about it. He certainly hasn't said that he has referred the matter to the attention of the RCMP. We have seen the Liberals at committee try to obstruct efforts to get to the bottom of this major national security breach. And frankly, what we've seen in terms of the Prime Minister's silence, obstruction by Liberal MPs, no doubt, directed by the Prime Minister, is part of a pattern with this Prime Minister, part of a pattern of a Prime Minister who has continually put his personal and partisan political interests and that of protecting top Liberals implicated in a serious crime, leaking classified information that may have compromised a CSIS investigation into Beijing's interference activities ahead of our national security. Canadians deserve better. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Cooper.
To the RCMP superintendents, can you confirm that there are no PRC police stations operating in Canada at this time?
Again, I'm not going to comment on the ongoing investigation. It's been well detailed that there is ongoing investigations on this, so I'm not going to provide any further comments.
Well, with respect, I believe Minister Mendicino, as he was Minister of Public Safety, I believe he actually publicly commented on this issue in 2023, saying that the police stations had been shut down. Now, I think that this is a matter that concerns Canadians greatly, particularly groups that are targeted. And I'm just, candidly, I'm a bit surprised that we can't even hear in Parliament say whether or not there are police stations. I mean, I understand that there are active investigations, or there might be. I'm not sure if there might be. How can't we just say yes or no? These things are or are not operating, and how does that jeopardize an investigation?
So there is active investigation. To your point, saying there might be, I think it's been confirmed that there is active investigation. And again, I'm not going to comment further on this subject.
From what I can understand, and I know I don't have a whole lot of time, but my understanding is that the RCMP said that they shut these down, that this is in 2023. So if that's different in 2024, here we are as parliamentarians studying foreign interference. I think we should know whether or not there has been a change there. Do you have any comment to that?
I don't have any comments, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Caputo.